Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Aquarius Rising Africa. And it's Taco, Tom, and Tea Tuesday. Whatever tea, whatever's happening on a Tuesday, welcome. And it's so good to have you guys all here. And welcome back, Tom. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's intense, but it's interesting. It's like it feels like we're on the front line in the band of brothers and sisters, what it should be called. So
Yeah, absolutely. These are certainly crazy times. And I mean, you and I were just having a little bit of a chat off air for a few minutes. And what really is apparent at the moment as well is the amount of, and I mean, having guests like Jesse for 3 years now on our show, as well as some other survivors that are really blowing the whistle. There's always the trolls, and there's always the attacks, and there's always the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And we've noticed, especially, I'm going to say, in the last year, and it's really amping up, there's been a lot of increase, if you will, in the amount of trolling. I know that's a kind word.
yeah, that's kind. Yeah, and the detail they put into it, like you actually see them going for certain key talking points that are assigned, just like the media, mainstream media uses. You'll hear them say the same thing over when you do those clips of condensed, segments where it's like terrorism, 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 terrorism. They all say the same word over and over and over again, like something like catechism, and they just keep throwing it in. And that's what they do with talking points on each individual they're going after. And you'll see certain ones they're supposed to derail people. And if they can't find evidence on you, they'll manufacture evidence on you and just spout it out as if it's truth. It's amazing.
Oh, and honestly, I can speak personally to that because especially in the beginning, because of course I don't fit the normal mold of what people think a person should be, right? So a lot of who I am and what my religious denomination was always, and still sometimes is, under the spotlight, right? But it's amazing the amount of trash talk that goes on. But it may as well, it's as if they're speaking about someone I don't even know. So the stuff that goes out there, that's just from me as a host. Now, of course, I know as a host on the channel that hosts the whistleblowers and the people who are disclosing this information, I will naturally come under attack just by association. And they've pretty much told me that, you're under fire just by association.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't really care, but it does get intense. And I know especially you have it, and a big one that has it. And I mean, I've got to say as well, the Australian whistleblowers have it hugely. They are so hectically monitored. And it's like, we know Jessie. I mean, they're even creating memes about her, right?
Really? Wow.
Oh yeah. And I mean, these crazy stories and just the stuff that gets sent out about her is quite on another level. But of course, she's disclosing a lot of stuff, and she's got affidavits and all sorts of things going on.
Right. They try to get you off balance, and then they'll go after you and after you. Then they call you crazy. So it's like they destroy a person's life, and then they call them crazy. So these tactics do need to be examined. And we come from a place of not whining about it, but actually bringing it forward, thanking God that we're given it in order to use it as a tool to help turn it around on the other side, because this has to stop on all these innocent people being targeted. And what it really comes down to is trying to shut down information, trying to shut down being revealed, being caught. And it's a last rear guard attempt by villains on the run.
Yeah.
So
the Tiffinator, just because you're always so lovely, I'm going to show you my picture.
I know, I love that picture. I can't believe that the Iron Age has that very position.
Yeah, it's a picture that was painted for me by a very good friend of mine many years ago, and an ex-boyfriend had it framed for me for a birthday
Okay.
many years ago, and it's definitely one of my most prized possessions. I love it, and she's called it the Thinking Man. So it follows me wherever I go. But thank you. Yeah. So I know I get a lot of questions around what is the picture behind my head. So there you go.
Yeah. All right.
I love the feet. I must say I love the feet because I always, when I do my spiritual practice, I always visualize myself sitting at the feet of God. And feet for me are very important. And if you look at the feet, they're very unusual shape. So I'm always there. And I know in my other place I was sitting right under them. Yeah, I'm not, but they're still there at least.
That's right. Feet are basically, that's the part of the body that does a lot of the service. It just has to carry the load. Always, I sometimes would think if it was a child's story, it'd be the least appreciated often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even, if you look at Buddhism, they'll always sit at the feet of the wise ones. And a lot of people have criticism about that. But what that really means, in a nutshell, is really that you honor the path that those before you have walked. So it's not that you groveling, and yes, there is. I mean, and even if you look at Christian terms, how many, the stories with Jesus having his feet washed and perfumed. It's a very honorable service to be able to honor someone that has gone to those massive lengths to bring back wisdom, bring back knowledge for everyone to share. So it really is about honoring the path they've walked as opposed to groveling at their feet. So
absolutely. I have to remember when I was dating people, they would offer a foot rub and stuff. And I thought, that's like don't touch the feet. It's like, ew, the feet. So it's like, but that feeling of, that's like the dirty part of the body, the feet, or it gets sweaty, whatever. So it's like, but that's a sign of great kindness and gentleness and compassion when you actually, take care of the feet.
Well,
so yeah.
If we look at reflexology as well, right? And I know we're veering off the topic a little bit, but I think it's still interesting.
Yeah, I like it. That's great.
Yeah. The meridian points, the nerve endings, I mean, they're richest in the feet, right? So that's why it's so important to walk barefoot as well, because literally by walking barefoot, you're massaging all the nerve endings and the meridian points in the feet that are connected to all your internal organs. So that's why it's so healthy to walk with bare feet and
that's
connect to the earth.
Well, what was done to Maui, not to total lateral, but it does apply. On Maui, one of the beautiful things about the weather, so nice all around the clock, all around the year, you'd like to walk barefoot, but there's these spurs that are just like, I mean, anybody's been to Maui or Hawaii, there's like these thorns like this big that'll impale your feet, and it's just so painful. And it's like they're all through the island. Now, the tale that they tell there is that missionaries laid those out so natives would stop walking around bare feet. Now, that might be a tale. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'll tell you what, you're walking along the beaches and hit one of those spur plants. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's like stepping on a nail. And it's
absolutely.
It is nice to go on bare feet. Absolutely. So
yeah. Anyway, I mean, I do it all the time. And it was so funny because in Thailand, when I lived there, you're pretty much barefoot all the time. It's expected that you take your shoes off before you go in anywhere, right? So that's why everyone wears flip-flops. Come back to South Africa, walk around barefoot. I'm banned from going into the establishment without feet, without shoes. And I'm like, come on.
That's crazy. Yeah, on Maui, it's allowed. I mean, also it's a old school place. It's like from the States. But take a shoe off and go to someone's home. Yeah.
And really, feet is so important, In my journey as a healer, and often, when I'm doing body work on people, I would notice how people neglected their feet. Yeah. And that's the part that I actually give the most attention to. Anyone who comes to me, I will often even if I'm just touching toes, just pressing, it is such a releasing sensation as well. And it's like, really, it's amazing and it's grounding. The feet are so... The minute you start giving your feet attention, and as you say, they're the part of your body that is of complete service to you, service.
Right.
So when we start taking care of them, we start taking care of the whole body, actually. It was
absolutely.
amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
You have some kind of pain in your foot, and you start walking differently because of the pain on your foot, your whole alignment starts to be affected. So
yeah,
really must
starts being knocked out.
so yeah. Anyway, yeah,
Anyway,
this must be
now that we're all standing firm on the earth, feet firmly on the earth, barefooted, connected, let's go.
yeah, it's gonna lead to something because there must have been a reason we talked about feet. I've always seen that now that everything ties together somehow.
Exactly.
You go just like feet. Yeah, so go ahead.
Exactly. But anyway, what we were saying was really just going back to what we were originally talking about was the onslaught on a lot of people right now and the divide and conquer. And, I know we often talk about this topic, but this right now for me is one of the main things that are going on. When we're looking at all this, we've been known for a while, we've been told for a while, warned for a while, that the next is the climate control and the alien agenda. Well, I definitely, I know there's something going on there. We're going to be learning more and more about that as well with different guests as well. But, the whole objective is divide and conquer. So they've got their puppets up front, that are doing their dirty work for them, that are the ones that are really trolling and creating chaos. I call them the chaos creators. So there's a lot of chaos being created. But really, at the end of the day, if we look at everything, I love to see God in everything because I see an opportunity in that. So when we look at chaos, let's ask ourselves what the opportunity within the chaos is. And that is really to find the clarity or the stillness and to be discerning. Because now more than anything else, it's about being discerning and about having faith. Because it's true. Yeah. It's true what it is. It's like this really is a spiritual battle going on.
Right.
And if we lose our footing, right? If we lose our footing, talking about feet, we're going to tumble and fall, right? We're going to tumble and fall. So it's about standing firm, standing strong, being in alignment with Christ, and then moving from that place. But we're not going to get there when we're in chaos. And right now, there's a lot of chaos being created. And again, I want to read that thing just now, that the comment that someone left on another channel. Okay. They're very rude. There's a lot of rude comments and there's a lot of stuff like that going on. But the whole objective is that we've got to really stop questioning. There's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of information being given. A lot of everything being thrown at us. And the whole objective, I think, is just to stand strong, aligned with God.
Right.
When you're in that place, you will know where to go.
Right.
But we were not going to know for sure unless we find ourselves in that place. And this is where the faith comes in, because we have to have faith. This is the third dimension, in my opinion, is where we have the free will and choice. We have the free will and choice to make that choice or that choice. And many of us don't know what choice to make. So we rely on the opinion of others. And they know this. So they know when we're in a state of fear, it's very easy to create division and conquering, right? So if we're not in a space of fear, if we go, screw you, buddy, whatever, I know different. When we find ourselves in that place of knowing different, we can then move forward in a unified way. But while there's chaos, we can't move forward in a unified way. So we have to find that faith within ourselves. We have to practice that discernment within ourselves to be able to move forward. That's my opinion.
Well, I want to show something to you that I've always gone a different way in the past, and now I've learned my error, if you will, for me personally. One of the things we usually do is we go, why are they doing this to me? What we should be asking is, why are they doing this to me? It's a different mindset. What it is this is a blessing. Now, many people say, well, it's just a distraction. They're trying to distract you. Let it go. I say, no, we use it as a tool. Why are they doing this to me? What are they afraid of? What are they letting us know through that communication? Because usually they'll point out what they fear most when they throw it at you. They're letting you know. There's a lot of information being tossed to you in these attacks, and we can help others that are attacked with this also by looking at it and analyzing it and using it as another arrow in our quiver. So we pick up the enemy's tool. So it's like, that's what it is. It's a blessing, and we let each other know. We don't just let it go. Don't like let it just roll off, let it go, because they do want that. They want isolation and silence, and that's usually a reaction. What we need to do is employ it, use it, learn from it. And like I said, instead of going, why are they doing this to me? We go, why are they doing this to me? And
yeah,
we,
exactly.
you know, and we employ each other in it, and we contact each other and let them know they're coming here. They must be scared about this particular thing. Here's what I get from it: is they're scared about this. Let's hit harder on this. They just showed.
I agree. It's about moving out of that victim space of why am I always being picked on or whatever it is, right? Into, well, hang on, why is this happening? What can I see? And where do I need to strengthen my resolve? And honestly, this is what these times are about. And the more people I speak to who have kind of seen, because they've been involved in the system in so many ways, have seen what's going on, what we really in for, it's all about us having the faith. This is we're not going to beat these guys on physical grounds. They are way too smart in terms of how they've manipulated energy, how they've manipulated our consciousness, how they've manipulated the entire history of our planet, our religions, our any spiritual practice that's available on Earth has been tampered with. So they've really given us chunks of information. So we're not getting the full truth. We're getting chunks of the truth. And what they've done there as well is that in that way, they've made us fight with each other. How many different religions fight with each other? And it's always about religion, isn't it? The greatest wars in history have been fought in the name of the Bible or some type of religion. So there's something to be said about that. So the more we kind of become crazy and fundamental about things, the more that sort of energy takes hold of us. But when we just chill out, we enjoy, we relax, we have fun, we love each other, we take care of each other, we get together, we dance, we play, we sing, we really rejoice in being human, we then elevate. Then they can't get us. It's like the crocodile in the swamp can't bite the bird. Can't. The bird's flying now. Can't fly. That's what happens with us. So although they're there, they can't reach us anymore in that place. But that comes through elevation of spirit. Mm-hmm. And we do that through being joyful, finding things in life that make us happy.
Yeah.
Connecting with those that bring us joy. That's the time for this right now.
Absolutely. It's interesting. You see how, when Aiden was little, one of the things I would do is if he had a bad day at school or was bullied, we go out and have a celebration together. He gets a special prize. We go, so I lift his day when he comes home. If he tells me about he was bullied, okay, then we're going for ice cream and we're going to have a good time today. We're making a special day then. You get a special day. So it's like, so he knew that if something happened, that way he learned to not be afraid of it. It was like he would learn that if something bad happened, I'm going to have even a better day at home. So I'm not going to think of it as a bad thing. Another thing, too, is we learned just how scared the other side is. I had this attorney for Warner Brothers that would be in front of me, and he was like this. You could see him like beneath the veneer of the mask was this terror because they spin this paranoia among themselves. They have this delusion, paranoia. That's why they throw it at us. You'll see delusional always thrown at the different people that are appearing public and those that are, going through this privately. Delusional is the first. It's a stupid, easy phrase to throw and makes them feel superior. That's what the narcissist needs. And so my sister throws it, Patrick throws it, they all throw it. The congressman handler. So what the attorneys for Warner Brothers throw it, the ones that are planted throw it, they all throw it. People come on and attack you online, throw it. The first card they do is delusional. And it's like I said, it's like that movie Knight's Tale, where the guy comes up and says, like I said before, your mama. And the guy's like, the mama jokes went out a long time ago. And he ends up going, your mama. They don't know what else to throw. Delusional.
Yeah.
They feel good about, I say, a tired talking point. You know, first of all, if you're making stuff up about different people I love and others, you're the one's delusional. And if my sister's going like, he's going to shoot me, he's going to shoot me, oh my God, he's going to shoot me, I know, then that says extreme paranoia and mania. So it's like, you know, delusional paranoia. I'm moved 1,000 miles away from her to get away from her and get my mom down here and get Aiden safe. So there's no way we're concerned thinking about her. We're trying to get away from her. So we're not the ones that are going to harm. She's the one doing the harm. So that's what I'm seeing, that these other guys are so paranoid. They actually shake in front of you because of what they've been spinning. They start to believe their lies, that somehow you're dangerous. What would they accuse me of? Daring to face them down. It gets to the point where all you got to do is, like, if you're attending to stuff and they throw their nasty stuff and you just went like this, they freak out. They're so paranoid and empty without God inside while claiming God that they become this fragile shell. And you almost feel sorry for them. Almost. I don't anymore because of all the harm that you're inflicting. I have plenty of opportunity now.
Almost.
Almost. That's the compassion side where it's like, almost. But no, not when they could stop easily and have every opportunity to. And if you ask them to meet with you to resolve issues, they won't do it because they're under a fire to do this nasty stuff. So
exactly.
Their fears of the person they're attacking and the fears of the person that's handling them. And for the one that's attacking, what I think God gave me was this. I believe he gave me this understanding when I asked, why are they doing this? And it was like this. They're coming at you hard and throwing everything possible they would be afraid of having thrown at them, because they're knowing that what they're doing to you is illegal and dangerous. And so they're afraid of the reaction they might get sometime from doing all this illegal criminal behavior. So they're thinking like this. Basically, subtext is, Shanti has every right to come at us because we've been doing everything to destroy her life. And she has every right to come at us. So we're a little bit afraid of maybe she will someday, because we are doing really a lot of harm to her and we're trying to. They're afraid of what they should be receiving in a normal world. But with empaths and compassionate people, we don't do that. And so even that period of us not doing anything, which we don't, being compassionate people, empathetic people, scares them, because like, why have they waited so long to retaliate? Why have they waited so long? Because we're not like you. We don't think like you. And we're going, how can we use this to make this stop for the benefit of all? We're not going, oh, I can't wait to get my sister in Pennsylvania. I can't wait to see. And she holds up a video to my mom going, look, he's going to shoot me. He's going to kill me. It's like, and the video is saying, I can't wait for the horror to stop. And the police were even like, they even said the police were like, that doesn't say her name. I said, no, we're just waiting for the horror to stop. So my son and mom have a normal life and a happy life. That's it. Waiting for the horror to stop. We're not even thinking about her. She holds it up, saying over and over, screaming, he's going to shoot me. Look, he says it right here. That wants the horror to stop. Someone needs to help her with her mania. And these other people that attack people like Jesse, yourself, and others out there, others privately that are attacked, it's the person attacking that needs the help. They're the ones that need to, and the final phrase they always use is, get some help. I'll pray for you. Get some help. It's like, well, that doesn't sound very kind. That sounds like you're just trying to score another delusional. You're a mama. Yeah. It's like, it's not really anything about helping. Anyway, thanks for letting me go on with that. I needed to bring that forward. So
no, I mean, I fully agree, because when we're dealing with a lot of that, it makes things difficult. And, it's not just what they're doing, but it's the spin-off effect, right? Mm-hmm. So it's getting the communities involved. And of course, then people start taking sides. And then it's that whole divide and conquer. And then suddenly people that were on this side of the fence are now jumping fence. And then they get mad because I'm not jumping fence with them. And then I get attacked because I'm not jumping fence. And, and I'm just talking about as a host on the channel, on these channels. And this has happened at least several times in the last 3 years where, and, I know a few hosts that have been very affected by this. I thank God for some reason. It doesn't affect me. I don't care. You can say what you want. You can do what you want. It doesn't matter. Unless I feel I want to change it, I'm not going to. It's got to be something that comes from me to feel like, okay, that person is seriously dodgy because of X, Y, and Z reason. I'm not going to change my opinion on that. And that's just the way I am. So when, and again, it's the host that has to be in their clarity, the way I see this, and I'm talking specifically on these platforms, the host has to be clear on what they want. They can't be wishy-washy. The person that's under attack has to be strong and resilient and be able to take the punch and roll with the punches, as we do. And then the viewers, of course, need to be able to discern the truth from the untruth. And that's where the viewers come in, because really at the end of the day, they're doing this in order to create chaos within the communities, right? So when the communities are all splintered and fragmented, it gives them more power, because then they put out other information and other hosts and other everything else to draw people in again. And really, we've seen this happen. So and this is why I keep saying it's about that discernment. It's about the faith. It's about practicing what you need to understand within yourself and working with that, because that's the only way we're going to get through, not the scattered energy that people don't know. One day they think this, the next day they've decided that, 3 days later, oh, well, they're back there again, and now it's different. We need to be a lot more discerning in the way we deal with these things.
The other side calls it a game. Like I said, they call it a chess game, things like that. Picture a rugby match. And basically what we need to be doing is when they attack an individual of our team, or people are actually empathic and compassionate, and they're being onslaughted, because they pick them out one by one, and they feel it feeds their fear need, the fear need to cover their fear need to harm somebody else so they don't feel afraid. That's a narcissistic playbook move. So what we do is, like a rugby team, we come together and support anybody. If we huddle with them, scrum with them, and then the other side will not feel good about attacking because it doesn't give them the feed they want. They don't get the feed. They want the person isolated, alienated, and having to deal with it. Deal with it, move on, they'll say.
And exactly, and the whole divide and conquer, sorry, Tom, to interrupt, but the whole divide and conquer is exactly that, so that they can fragment and isolate, because that's the only way they get to a person, right, is through the fragmented, dumbed down consciousness that they've been feeding us for the last who knows how long. From what I'm saying, the technology and stuff that they've started using on this planet goes as far back as the 20s already. That's when the information from these AI bot things, whatever they are, that's a topic for a different day, has started coming in. And, that's how systematically, so it's almost a century already, right, that they've systematically been breaking down humanity. And it's up to us. And this is a test of our faith. It's up to us to rise up in our faith and know who we belong to and know what's expected of us in our individual capacities, because we all have a purpose to fulfill. We all have a role to fulfill here. So all of us have to get up and do what we need to do. It's really going back to the hive consciousness, which you and I are talking about, because we either have when it's reversed, which is really the template, I want to call it, that they've been using. That's why the bee is the most important creature on the planet. Let's think about that for a minute. So what they've done is they've literally reversed that. And let's say the bees work for the queen bee. In this system, it's a physical queen you bow down to and you become a slave to, or a drone to, literally a robot-like type creature, right? Where you answer, you have to, and then you get confused and everyone's stinging each other and no one knows what their role is. But the real way, when we look at the analogy, but the queen, let's look at the queen. The symbology, rather, that's what I was looking for, the symbology of the queen in the hive. It's about working towards a common goal together. The queen symbolizing a goal or a project or whatever it is. And everyone within the hive knows their role and the importance of their role. There's not one role more important than the other. And every bee, when it's working in harmony, understands that. So when we can understand that, we stop competing with each other, for starters, because we realize that how can my perfect role be that person's? And in the same breath, I'm going to say, well, how can their role be yours then? So there's nothing to compete about. When you know that, we work together. And that's really, and then we work together towards that common vision or the common goal. And then we don't have these distractions. And exactly how that manifests, that wild bee out of control hive, is how it's manifesting now. What we're seeing around us is really that energy in action in humans.
What's interesting too is that it's like the Good Samaritan really is the answer. All of us being Good Samaritans, if we see a brother or sister wounded on the road, we minister to them, we protect them, we fend off the wolves. And so the narcissists can't handle that. They can't handle anyone standing up together against them, because they have their flying monkeys, they call it. They have their flying monkeys where they'll do their bidding and attack you. And it's easy for a coward to do that. Narcissists are cowards. What they'll do is they'll have their team attack often, right? And even under false names, you'll see all these avatars and things of different, they don't even have the real name. And you go to their site and there's nothing there. And so they are very cowardly in their attacks. But for us, what we need to do is do group responses where we shelter and support, at the very least, lift up the person being assaulted. It should be a near-dear reaction. There's also an interesting thing going on with me now facing off Elon Musk, the situation I'm in, and calling him out for what he's groomed to do, replacing what I was groomed to do. There's a new phenomenon happening. And actually the scriptures do talk about this. I haven't talked about this before, but it's just surfacing now because they failed at getting the man to come through, which I could have told you that would have happened. And so, they fumbled the ball. So now they're looking at grooming a woman to be sort of an antichrist role. So now they're grooming a woman that will come on the scene, that will be beautiful, enticing, with a group of women, because we've been talking about how women hold the keys, right? So these guys are always adapting and thinking what they can employ. Matrix really struck home. People all talk about the Matrix. Let's use that. They're like that. They're like in boardroom going, let's use that. Let's use that. And the elites, all these elites, from Biden and the rest, are employing, including the FBI, CIA, what can we utilize to get people to follow us and get in line and accept the Neuralink, things like this. So you're going to start seeing a woman coming forward more that's going to be just fabulously beautiful. She's going to have a way of talking that's very sultry. She'll be looking like she's the one that just came through, and yay for women. And it's going to be someone who's going to take men in tow, because they'll be like, okay. And it's just like, that's the plan now. And there's simple, stupid minds, these filmmakers with the agencies, to try to create a evil Moses, basically, or Mosette. And that's now the new plan. So it's interesting to see who comes on the scene now with the plastic surgery. Like,
yeah. I was about to ask you, do we know who this lady is? I mean, have you any idea?
I've been told this is just now in development, that they're looking for a new way to get the ball in the end zone. So they got to get Neuralink in. We've called out Elon Musk so badly that they don't know what to do. He's faltering. So he's going to fall from grace, basically, as the engineer that was given the work. And they're going to bring in another woman that's going to come through. So some woman's going to come through. They saw the success of people like, right back to Jackie Onassis, to Trump's wife. And she is a beautiful person inside and out, I think. Generally so. So they're going to look for that kind of thing, just like they had the Face the Christian Coalition. They're going to have something where people will get in line. It'll be very popular. And you can imagine what office she'll be going for, right? To lead this country, to lead the rest. So they're going to get her a high level. And what's really sad is it's like the Trudeau cartoon, where they have Trudeau dressed as Moses leading the people, that cartoon where the people in the background following Trudeau dressed as Moses going, where's he taking us? I don't know, but he sure is adorable. It's like that's what they're counting on, is people just to give over and just go, like for men especially, to reset the field of men, because we're calling it out. Some of us are calling it out, and they didn't expect that. So Elon Musk is faltering. They need a replacement. Look for a woman who's been guised up. It's going to have fashion sense, younger, beautiful, to take the ball. And she'll have a team of beautiful women too. It's be like Charlie's Angels. They're going to use something we're familiar with that they think will step in line with. And they're always looking for this angle that will follow. Like the Matrix was a hit, like I said. So let's employ the Matrix style. So it'll be like the Trinity Project, we can call it in our own terms. follow the Trinity, going against the Trinity. So yeah, if that makes any sense. They're looking for the new way out, the new way to get to Neuralink linked in.
Is there something called the Trinity Project or Trinity Training or Trinity Mind Control?
As far as that, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's my question.
As that, what's interesting is here, this is interesting. They actually go off of what their groomed people come up with. I was groomed to lead, as we said. I mean, probably heard that to nausea, right? But the thing is, like, I was. So that's why Elon Musk was given it. When I come up with something like when I coined Trinity Project, whether it's out there or not, they may just incorporate it because one of their groomed own said it. So it's just like they still consider me one of their own, right? And they're trying to entice me to come back to them, come home, they say, as I said before. So when I come up with something like this on the air, you may just see it surface and they'll use it because they still consider me one of their own. So right here it formulated, right? Maybe there's other things called that out there. I'm sure people have that handle, Trinity Project, whatever. But the thing is, like, we just said it. They still consider me as one of their assets, one of their groomed to lead. So they may just employ it now. So that would be chilling. And then they often come back to you and say, it's your fault. You said it. You're the one that started this as part of their put downs. Isn't that something? Yeah.
Wow.
They grab whatever they can. They're grabbing for straws right now. So the question is, should I talk about it? Maybe not. But the thing is that let's lay it out there.
Yeah, I think it's important to lay out there because, again, we're looking, I mean, you're talking about this and just, what I was saying earlier on about the chaos that ensues in this wild bee hive that we currently, in my mind, experiencing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're looking at definitely going back to Maui and places like that where I was seeing, in fact, I posted on my Facebook, Spain, massive floods in Spain. I mean, literally the streets washing with water, cars being washed away, women on the roofs of their cars, hanging on for dear life as the cars are being washed down the street to God knows where. This past weekend, just here where I live, spring tide, massive waves washing houses away. And that's just from the spring tide. So we're seeing more and more floods in Morocco, floods in Spain, definitely floods and fires here in South Africa, lots of them in Africa, right? All sorts of places. And again, we're looking at we know it's not natural fires, but the direct weapons. And we literally are under siege right now. I mean, I don't think we can see it any other way. So now more than ever, and I think, if we're looking at and we believe in the biblical book of Revelations, basically, these are the end times, so to speak. But it's also the end of an era. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. And that's why, again, we go back to discernment. And I like what the Tippinator again said, critical thinking, because it's not about overthinking. It's about using your God-given intuition or discernment, right? Because when you're using your discernment, that is God's voice or your intuition when you're tuned in. And then you apply critical thinking to that, and then you work accordingly, right? So, or you live accordingly, or you act accordingly, rather. So it really is that time for me when we're looking at all of these things. I mean, we're just hearing more and more. And I mean, someone actually sent me some photos of some of the bodies from Maui. I mean, no, it's not normal.
No, it's not. It's just like the towers when they send the people back upstairs. I mean, those people were running down from the second tower to get to safety. And as a first responder, you're supposed to help them get to safety. And those morons at the bottom of the stairs said, go back up to your offices, go back up, because they needed a higher body count. And I know that from the operatives that have informed me about this. They needed a higher body count.
That is the first I've heard, Tom, you speak about that. And I know we've spoken about it before, about people being sent back to their offices you know, when the towers were hit.
Right.
Because again, you know, more and more we're hearing in Maui as well about people were not allowed to go out. You know, they were literally trapped, and all sorts of excuses. There were no alarms. You know, and then you hear someone interviewing the police and saying, well, the only time the alarms go off is when people have to move up, when there's floods, because they didn't want them walking into the fire. Yet in the legislation they have, it states very clearly, you know, that along with floods, any emergency, including fires, that alarm had to be sounded.
Right.
So, you know, there's all sorts of lies and deception going on. We know that.
Right.
But we, you know, it's not just there, it's happening. And again, you know, that's, you know, Maui, and as it should, is taking the main focus when it comes to these things right now. But it's also important for us to realize that many other places are being hit at the same time. So we are under siege. And again, I go back to the whole discernment thing and faith. We have to do that right now.
Absolutely, absolutely right. I mean, we're looking at all the things they had in order that you can tell by how they set it up. They claim that they work on the art of war, right? Well, let's use that information. So the art of war is you win your battle, or you win your war before you even fight your battle. So what do they do for the art of war on Maui? What do they apply from that text, the art of war? Okay, they get the governor to change the zoning laws, like we said, less than a month before the attack. I'll call it attack. Right. So just before the attack, they have the zoning laws changed in the historic area that you can rebuild it any way you want. Then I sent you that clip, or that thing of the image that one of my teammates sent me about the Maui Fund, the fund that you send the money to rebuild Maui. Who is involved in it? Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers and Metro Meyer, whatever, are the
the entertainment what was it called, the entertainment fund. So this fund that Oprah and The Rock were begging money for, right, would then been paid into the entertainment fund, or I think it's the entertainment industry fund or something, which is run by, as you say, Warner Brothers, right?
Right. Do you have share screen?
Now you need to go in there into present. If you look at the bottom of your look at the bottom of your screen.
Settings. So
next to setting is present.
Oh yeah, duh. Okay, share screen. Cool. Share screen. Pop. Are we up? Do you see me? Wait.
We're gonna see now.
Entire screen. Entire screen. Okay, entire screen. Share. Go, baby. Come on, baby. Share. See it?
It's coming up, I think. Here we go. I think it's coming up.
Okay.
Hang on. Let me just hang on. Let me add to the stage. There we go.
Okay, let's take a look at this right here. Here we go. Let me pull it over. Oh, and this one also. Wait, stop. Okay, here we go. Oh, and a funny thing about the, not funny, but that, remember I said a woman might lead the way now? A woman might be picked to be the one that misguides us, right? They're talking about having her be AI. So a beautiful AI robot who talks very sweet and very intelligent to help us humans get in line. They think that'd be a really cool thing to do. So just a thought of, that's interesting. Anyway, created in 1942 by Hollywood, the EIF, right? EIF, there's the URL on it. Created by Hollywood icons, Humphrey Bogart, James Cagney, Warner Brothers, the Entertainment Industry Foundation. Okay, the Entertainment Industry Foundation has focused on some of the most pressing needs of our time. Now, dissect this one. From the first grants directed to wartime agencies. Well, that's interesting. So you give to the entertainment industry, Warner Brothers, it goes to the war machine, such as United Service Organizations and American Red Cross. There it is. American Red Cross, they got the Nazis with the CIA and FBI and Pentagon's blessing out of World War II Germany with the Vatican helping. The American Red Cross would not have done it unless they had the Pentagon's blessing to do so. Thousands of Nazis. To utilizing the power of the industry to help eradicate child polio. There's Bill Gates getting funds, right? Look how you can just dissect it. To our current efforts to raise funds and awareness for critical health, education, and social issues. What's the critical health education? It's undefined, so they can do whatever they want with it. That's exactly how Pat Robertson worked. So when you give to the Maui Relief Fund, you're actually giving to Rebuilding Warner Brothers Studios extension on Maui, along with Oprah Winfrey and Zucker and all the rest, and watch Elon Musk buy up land there too. On the side here is the People's Fund of Maui, and you have that also. So this is incredible. I just, yeah. Anyway, let me go back to you. So stop sharing. All right, there you go. We're back.
We're back.
Did that make sense? Do you see how it was Bill Gates, military, Bill Gates, Red Cross, all the main baddies are the ones getting the money. So are you helping the children on Maui? You're helping the entertainment industry. You say,
well, the last I heard that the missing kids had now gone to 2,500. And I mean, I am scouring the media. So I don't know if any of you in the chats have known or heard anything about the kids, their whereabouts. Do we know anything about that yet? Because I haven't heard anything. And Jan, you're right. We actually spoke about that on Jesse's show with Jesse the other day. We spoke about Oprah, and Oprah being the most wealthy woman in America, black woman in America, and the rock, Black Rock. And of course, a diamond is referred to as a rock as well, right?
And that's what they called Maui. They called Maui the Rock. In fact, I had a very gifted Hollywood director that came and worked with me on Maui immediately when I arrived, when Disney was courting me. And what John said was, he said, we're going to get you off this rock, get you in Hollywood, set up as a star in Hollywood again. So it was a second wave for me to make it in Hollywood when I was to be groomed by Tom Hanks. So it's just like, yeah.
Why do they refer to Maui as the rock? I mean, was that just a figure of speech, or is that something it's actually referred to?
They call it, the reason they called it that, for me, I think, something was that they were saying, like, you're on this rock in the middle of the ocean. You know, let's get you to Hollywood with the big boys. Let's get you up there and stardom. So they were calling about getting me off the rock. It sounds like Alcatraz, but it's like, get me off of there and get me to where I'm really thriving, you know, have stardom. So
but it's interesting, again, that The Rock was in on that, you know, and we know by now that they really do nothing by accident. But anyway, so that really is, you know, and again, if anyone knows anything about the floods in Spain, and what that's about, again, you know, these it's like everything else, all the other natural disasters that are natural. Listen to me; those are not natural disasters. Let's call them let's call them what they are, right? All these other disasters occurring are not getting a lot of airspace. A lot of the focus is on Maui, but it's not just happening in Maui. That's the point I'm making. So I think it's really cool and important that we can also see that. If anyone else has any ideas about Spain, I'd like to hear about that in the chat or anything like that. Yeah.
And keep in mind, there's always a reason they target certain areas, right? So they always target certain areas to send a message. They want to be clever. They always want to be clever. So there's always a tie-in. Again, we can look at why are they doing this? You know, and we dissect it. And what's interesting is it often looks like we're just talking, right? But actually we are working hard along with others to reveal the other side. Our best weapon, our best answer to everything they do is to reveal the other side. Let the emperor's new clothes, basically. Let's reveal them. Let's reveal them in their nakedness, in their deceptiveness. Let's reveal them and show it to a world. That is a power we still hold to right everything. So while we're here talking on a show, we're also engaging with amazing people who are with us here. And it's like we then take that information that we share and we go out and we make a difference by exposing. You know, we just don't, like we said, we don't just sit huddled. We go out and expose the other side. And that has an effect. They are fearful. Think of what they said in Men in Black. Scary, paranoid, fearful people. That's what humanity is. That's narcissists. That's the narcissist community. The rest of us are not that compassionate, ready to help. And so we got to do that by taking care of our own and making sure we lift up those that are harmed. And if someone's harming them, we reveal those people and they will run.
Absolutely.
They'll run because they're cowards. They'll run.
I'm watching again the comments, and I see, Jan, you said, I've heard the kids were saved prior to the fires. I've got to say, I put a big question mark around that, because that would indicate to me that there were people then that rescued them that would have known the fires were going to happen.
Well,
it doesn't.
if the elite had done, I mean, not going to need anything. Appreciate the comments. It's wonderful. If the elite had done the rescuing, they would have used that to our advantage, to their advantage, with real PR moves on that. They would have shown children being rescued. They would have shown how their hand is in it, and they would up their donations and also their solidifying of their power. So often they'll use anything they can to make themselves look good and clever. And so as far as the elite doing it, if that's a question, if other people did it that are not the elite, that actually have compassion, it's a possibility that people may have ushered children out and didn't want the elite to know. I could see that, and they wouldn't want to block that. But I don't know.
That could be, that could well be, because I also saw on one of the little the videos and stuff I was watching that there were, let me think, 16 school buses, I think, that should have been there, that actually weren't in the parking lot at the time of the fire. I think there were only 4. So they calculated, and I don't remember offhand, how many kids could fit in a bus and how many kids could have been taken. Now, either that was done, and it does seem that the kids were ushered off before. But my point is, if they were not at school that day, which they apparently weren't, how did they get taken away in the school buses? Mm-hmm. Right? For me, it's like, how do you get kids off? If they were at school, then I can say yes.
Right.
Then they would have been taken away in the school buses. Well, but for me, secondly, I mean, if they were rescued prior to the fire, it would mean that whoever rescued them had knowledge of the fire before it was happening.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's where I would question that. If it was a good operation, that's what I'm saying. If it was a operation done by people rescuing the kids as opposed to tunneling them, putting them in tunnels. And who's this that's saying, yeah, there was mountains to the Cheyenne Mountains tunnels. Yeah, here we go. I heard something about Hawaii having underground tunnel to Cheyenne Mountain. Now, you see, that would, again, to me, make sense, because we know that there's lots of tunnels. So,
lava tubes.
But I would still question how the kids who were on holiday that day got away in buses that were parked in the school parking lot that weren't there at the time of the fire, and the kids were not at school. There's something there that's not connecting for me.
Right.
If they were at school, I can get it, but otherwise it doesn't make sense.
There's a back road around the backside of Maui, West Maui, where you have it's like, oh my gosh, it's so narrow, and anybody that's been there knows about this winding back road past Lahaina. And I drove it once when I first got there in a Jeep, and it was harrowing. And I saw a school bus coming the other way, and you can't see around the corner. It's like one lane at times, and it keeps turning to one lane in blind spots. It's very dangerous, like the road to Hana you'll hear about, and like 32 miles or so. So this one, they could have sent the buses along this coastline road where it would never be noticed, really. It wouldn't have been noticed, and that's a possibility. That's the only way. They wouldn't send it out the main highway out towards Kihei. They wouldn't do that.
But if there were like 16 buses,
they would have a caravan.
Now, all leaving, I mean, it's hardly a huge, massive place that 16 bright yellow school buses can get lost in. People would have seen these buses going before, and there would have been some kind of person commenting saying, well, we saw the buses leave an hour before the fire or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. That part doesn't make sense to me. Something is not right there.
Well, if you know the geography of Maui, like someone asked me how long I was there, 11 years, doing shows and stuff. So I went to all the different schools, all the nook and crannies all over the island, including other islands. And if you head out, like I said, to these single road area that goes down the backside, there are drop-off points, very heavily wooded. If you get past Lahaina and kind of Pali, whatever, Lahaina, you go down off like you go forward and then cut back on an angle down into ravines, and you can't see anything. And there's old schools down there that you can't see anybody. And I was noting it when one time I went to do a show, this one school off the beaten path, and you could hide a fleet down there. I mean, it's like there's no way to see anybody. So you have this topography that's like dropping into ravines, and ravines are a main feature on Maui. You know,
how would they have gotten 2,500 kids there on a day when those kids were all off school?
well, no,
That's my
I'm not trying to play devil's advocate or anything. I'm just saying there's a
yeah, sure.
possibility
Yeah,
that it could
I
have been like,
question that.
if people saw it go by, they wouldn't think anything of it, because they'd be like, oh, it's a field trip. You know, you would, if I saw buses going by me and I'm in Maui doing shows, I wouldn't think anything of it. I would just be like, okay. And so people may not recall that. And if you do it at the time, but yeah.
If the parents of these kids
Mhm.
all know the kids were on holiday that day, and suddenly there's 16 school buses filled with kids when all the kids are on holiday that day and they shouldn't be at school.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, how did they get the kids there? I'm not saying they didn't get the kids there, but a lot of the kids were missing. Now, again, maybe that's a psyop. You know, maybe we being told these kids are missing and they're not really. Maybe they are. Maybe that's what I'm saying.
Well,
to me, it just seems, yeah.
I'm sorry. It's like I hate to raise this point. I don't want to raise this point, but for the sake of our situation here, I hate it. Children's bodies, have they turned up? If there's no children's bodies, which I hate the idea of, and there's no finding children's bodies, then these children were moved. I would surmise as the next thought is they were moved, and otherwise you're going to find the horrific, terrible thing resulting. So yeah,
I would absolutely love to hear from someone who is there and maybe has knowledge on that part of this. For me, that would be amazing, because if their bodies haven't been found, then something is dodgy. But I'd still be interested then, who took them? How did they get all the kids who were on holiday that day into 16 school buses without anyone knowing just before the fire?
We may be seeing the intimidation factor coming lately, soon, where people were told not to say anything. The agencies do this. They say, you will not talk about. What was I told? That if I said anything, my last son would be killed. So they do this thing where they get people to shut up. And this has happened all along, where people don't come forward. They don't come forward until after it's safe to come forward. And so that's often the case. You can get masses of people to coincide with that and acquiesce with that. So it's like, you know, I don't think we're going to know the answer until people feel freed enough or have the courage to actually say, okay, this has happened. This is what I know.
Yeah.
And when those witnesses come forward, eyewitnesses come forward, not seeking, you know, not the ones that are planted to get glory and fame, but the actual people that are hurting and are afraid to talk, finally talk. Again, it's about revealing the other side. When they do, they'll give us a blessing of the knowledge and information we need to complete the picture. And so we'll have to wait until they're ready. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I pray that we find our truth in all of this, and that all of us are ready for whatever we need to do next. You know, we just got to be.
And I do too, Shanti. And one of the things that'll help these people come forward is they want to know what we're going to do with it. They'll be like, okay, we're going to tell you. If we tell you, what will you do with it? Will we make a difference? And we need to figure out what's the next step to make a difference, and then press that way. Besides revealing their side, also encourage those that have the ability to, when the information comes forward, these people find that ability to do that, they need to have it used for a purpose, not just, oh, it's good to know. Put that in place. Yeah.
And I think what's also important is that, you know, since the whole world really does know what has happened in Maui now, that we do not allow them to continue doing what their plan was, to turn Maui into this 15-minute city haven with all the elites hanging out there and stealing the locals' land from them. That cannot be allowed.
Right. There'll be a class of the elites. That's exactly the plan they had when they brought me over in 2002. I was informed.
And that, I think, is going to be a test of our tenacity as fellow humans, because we can't just create a furore now about what's happened, and then when we see 15-minute cities go up in Hawaii, then suddenly we keep quiet. We can't do that, because if they get it right there, they're going to get it right everywhere.
What we need, and as crazy as it sounds, what we need is good attorneys, good female attorneys. The battleground's turning to women. So if we have good female attorneys, like in my situation, like I said, it's all been in here. We can stop them. We can stop the main players cold and have them run. They are starting to run. So we can stop Warner Brothers and Elon Musk and Bill Gates. They're all part of my story. So just me alone with others like me, we can stop them if we have the right attorneys. We've got to play the game, to win the game, to stop the game. We can save millions and billions of lives if the right attorney steps forward and stops listening to the garbage they're putting forward. In fact, that one attack lately on me was saying statute of limitations doesn't apply to me. Doesn't apply to me. Statute of limitations doesn't apply to me. So because of my situation. So, and they're just attacking it right and left, saying that as a talking point because they're so afraid. And that's why Chilton resigned, the main player. So if we want to save Maui and others and save the kids, we need good attorneys to step forward so we can stop this. And then we're going to reinvent the law or reset it so a child can argue their case and they can't get away with this anymore. We've got to stop this now. So if you're a good attorney, step forward. You're the one that can save the world. It really comes down to that. We have to finish this game and stop it. They said, I've won the game, but I'm nothing. I mean, I have God, I have you guys, but I'm nothing in the end to stop this unless we have a good attorney. And that is what it's coming down to, because they've rigged the system. They rigged the game that way. So we have everything.
And a whole bunch of awakened people who can support.
Give us support people with and good attorneys. Good attorneys step forward. We will stop this. I know the game. I was groomed to be on the inside of it, and I know the weak points. They're basically the engineers for our future that'll change us around and stop Neuralink and everything else. So please come forward if you're a good attorney. At least see what we have, and let's talk about it, and let's stop this rigmarole. Let's end this game. They're already running. And here's the deal, Shanti. If a good attorney steps forward, when a good attorney steps forward, when 2 or 3 step forward, we do depositions. As soon as we do depositions on these main players like Elon Musk and say that we're doing the 7-hour allotment we're given, 7 hours of him on camera that we're going to reveal publicly, they will settle immediately and we can save a world. That's what they're afraid of. They will run immediately. So if we get a good person to file, deposition filed, and say that we're going to film it and put it up, we can change the world that way. I know the key. So there it is. And thanks for letting me say it, because we can stop it. We can stop it right now. Stop it right now.
One step at a time we shall make the changes, right?
One big step for humanity, one giant leap for mankind or womankind. Right now we have that. We've got the spaceship, everything we need to land on the moon and take one step and finish this game. One step. We've done it.
Indeed.
So I want to point that out to people. That's what's been so frustrating for me. When we say, like, when they do these horrors, they're on you. Like one person said, this has been years ago, long ago. We knew they'd say that. That long ago, every minute of that long ago has been suffering and pain and agony as they kept taking our rights away. Every minute over each of those decades, I have felt it and I wear it.
Yeah.
And that's not something I can get away from. So I want to end this. And if they show us the hand to do it, let's just finish it. One giant leap for woman and humankind, and we're done. We got our world back. That's how easy it is. So anyway, thank you for letting me say it. That's it. We can win right now. And they know it. They know it. They told me this. The contacts tell me this. So we want to right our world. Good attorney, step forward. A couple of you, preferably women. We'll get our world back. And I swear that's what we're going to be doing. On my soul, I swear that's all we have to do is finish the game. Yeah. They already know it. They're ready to surrender. That's why they're catering to me right now. That's why they're saying we've won. If people get behind us and someone steps forward, we can end it all.
Yeah.
They're saying from the inside. So there it is on the table. And it's not about me. It's about finishing the job. And that's one frustration, Chantelle, I'll share with you, is that so many people get upset that are trying to seek fame and fortune, publicity. They'll go, well, no, it's about other people. It's like, if you have the ticket, where they're saying on the other side, you were groomed for it, that they'll give up if you come forward this way, then let's do it. Who cares about who it is? If it was somebody else, I'd be like, go, John, go, Jane, go, let's do it. It's about how can I help, not about what about me. So if I have the ticket, let's do it. I don't care. I want to retire from public life when this is done. So let's just get the job done, and I'll get to retire and hang out with my friends like you. And I'll be happy, and some of their friends here.
And then we'll all be happy, and then we'll be sending pictures. Sending pictures on YouTube. Hi, guys.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, that's it. I'll lay it out like that. Thanks for listening. It sounds wild, and that's what they want you to think, but that's where we're at. Did the homework over 3 decades. So I'm ready to cash it in and have us have a better world.
Indeed.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for this. I know it's hard to swallow and hard to believe, but that's where we're at. Yay. All right.
I agree. Okay, everybody. God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching us and chatting with us and having a few laughs with us as well. And we look forward to seeing you next week again and with Tom. So everybody, God bless you all. Thank you so much. And a special thanks to our Patreons who keep our channel going. Really appreciate you guys. And we shall see you. Well, I will see you sometime this week again, but I'm not sure. Oh, well. Okay, everybody. Cherry Bye.